the summer breeze.
Ah, the 1960s, a time of peace, love, and enough hairspray to keep a beehive intact through a hurricane. It was a decade where music exploded into color, creativity, and sometimes just plain weirdness. And for every Beatles or Motown legend, there were the musical shooting stars, those glorious one-hit wonders who flashed across the charts, left us humming something unforgettable, and then vanished like smoke at Woodstock. In today's video, we're diving into 15 forgotten one-hit wonders from the 1960s you listen to in your car. Some are sweet, some are strange, and some are just flat-out bizarre. But they all have one thing in common. They gave us one brilliant track before slipping back into the groovy ether. So crank up the record player, or your phone, and let's take a trip through time with the wildest, catchiest, and quirkiest one-hit wonders the 1960s ever gave us. Nah, nah, hey, hey, kiss him goodbye. Steam, 1969. This catchy chant wasn't even meant to be a hit. It started as a throwaway B-side created by studio musicians in a basement. But when DJs flipped the record, listeners couldn't get enough of its repetitive sing-along chorus. The band Steam didn't even exist until after the song took off, so a group had to be quickly assembled to perform it. It shot to #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 and sold over 1 million copies. Its iconic "Na na na na, hey hey hey, goodbye" chant has been used in sports stadiums, political protests, and sitcoms ever since. Ironically, Steam never followed it up with another charting song, making them a classic one-hit wonder. And yes, it's still used today whenever someone metaphorically, or literally, gets shown the door. Not bad for a song that was never supposed to see the light of day. 96 Tears, and the Mysterians, 1966. With its signature Farfisa organ riff and raw garage band energy, 96 Tears helped pioneer the proto-punk sound. Released independently before getting picked up nationally, the song hit #1 in 1966 and became a massive underground hit. The band's mysterious frontman, simply known as ? Claimed to cry 96 tears over a broken heart. But it turns out he just liked the way the number sounded.
I'm way down here, wondering how I'm gonna get you.
They never managed to recreate the success, but their influence lived on, inspiring artists like the Stooges and the Ramones. Fun fact, the band insisted on keeping their mysterious vibe, refusing to reveal ? real name, and embracing sunglasses indoors. Even Bob Dylan reportedly liked the tune. It's gritty, it's catchy, and it became a garage rock anthem for anyone nursing a bruised ego. They may not have lasted, but with one weird, organ-drenched hit, ? and the Mysterians left a permanent mark on rock history.
They're coming to take me away, ha-ha. They're coming to take me away, ho-ho.
They're coming to take me away, ha-ha! Napoleon the 13th, 1966. If you've ever heard a song and thought, what kind of fever dream is this? You might have stumbled across this novelty hit. Jerry Samuels, aka Napoleon 14, released this bizarre spoken-word song told from the perspective of a man losing his mind over a breakup. It features warbly pitch shifts, snare drums, and manic laughter. Released in 1966, it climbed all the way to #3 on the Billboard charts before being banned on several radio stations for making light of mental illness. Despite, or because of, the controversy, it sold over 1 million copies.
Right? You know you laughed. I heard you laugh. You laughed, you laughed.
Samuels never matched its success, but leaned into the absurdity, even releasing a backward version of the track on the B-side. Love it or hate it, this song stands out as one of the strangest entries in pop music history. And that's saying something for the 60s. A one-hit wonder? Definitely. A weird wonder? Without a doubt. Dominique the Singing Nun, 1963. Yes, a Belgian nun topped the US charts in 1963 with a French-language folk song about Saint Dominic. Sister Luke Gabrielle, better known as the Singing Nun, recorded Dominique with just her acoustic guitar and a gentle voice. And somehow it soared to #1 on the Billboard Hot 100. It even kept the Beatles from reaching the top for a few weeks. The song's peaceful simplicity and catchy melody made it oddly infectious, even for English-speaking audiences. A biopic starring Debbie Reynolds followed, But the fame proved too much for Sister Luke Gabrielle, who left her religious order soon after.
Ah, qu'ils sont beaux, les pieds des missionnaires.
She never replicated the success, and her later life took a tragic turn. Still, Dominique remains one of the most unexpected hits of the decade, a serene song from a nun that momentarily took over American radio. Who else but the 60s could make something this improbable into a smash hit? Hey, Baby, Bruce Channel, 1961. With its infectious harmonica and simple, sunny melody, Hey Baby charmed its way to number 1 in 1962. Bruce Channel had been performing the song live for years before recording it. But when he finally did, it caught on like wildfire. The track's distinctive harmonica was played by Delbert McClinton, who later became a legend in his own right, and even gave John Lennon some harmonica tips when the Beatles opened for Channel in the UK. While Bruce Channel never had another major hit, Hey Baby made it to number 1 on the Billboard chart and lived on, especially after it was featured prominently in the 1987 film Dirty Dancing. It became the soundtrack to baby stepping across dance floors everywhere. Even decades later, it's hard not to smile when you hear that opening, Hey, Hey Baby. Whether it's in a stadium, wedding, or movie montage, this feel-good classic has outlasted its humble beginnings and remains Channel's golden legacy. Little Bit of Soul, The Music Explosion, 1967. This garage rock gem from Ohio-based band The Music Explosion came roaring onto the scene in 1967 and hit number 2 on the Billboard Hot 100. It was catchy, loud, and had a rebellious flair that teenage audiences loved. Written by British songwriters John Carter and Ken Lewis, the tune was originally released in the UK with little fanfare. But when The Music Explosion added a heavier beat and a bit more attitude, it became an instant American hit. Their raw energy made it a favorite on AM radio. But despite the success, the band couldn't follow it up with another hit. They eventually faded out, leaving behind this stomping, sing-along anthem. Fun fact, the song has appeared in several movies and commercials, giving it a second life. Little Bit of Soul may have been their only big hit, but for about 3 glorious minutes, they were the kings of garage rock.
You know I love you, I always will.
Love Is All Around, The Troggs, 1967. Wait, wasn't this a hit in the 90s too? Yep. But originally, Love Is All Around was a 1967 hit by British rockers, The Troggs, best known for their primal classic Wild Thing. This slower, romantic track showed their softer side and hit the top 10 in both the UK and the US. With its heartfelt lyrics and gentle arrangement, the song became a wedding staple, and later saw renewed fame when Wet 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 covered it in 1994 for the 4 Weddings and a Funeral soundtrack.
No, I love you, I always will.
That version topped the UK charts for 15 weeks, but back in the 60s, it was the Troggs' final major hit stateside. While they had a few other UK chartings, in America they're remembered mostly for Wild Thing and this lovesick gem. A perfect example of a band who swung from wild to wistful and made a one-hit wonder that lived on for decades.
In the year 45,
In the year 2525, Zager and Evans, 1969. Talk about a song with zero chill. In the year 2525 is basically a musical Black Mirror episode, projecting the future of humanity with increasingly bleak predictions. Written by Rick Evans, the song outlines humanity's dependence on technology and pharmaceutical solutions decade by decade, ultimately leading to our extinction. Released in 1969, it struck a chord with audiences in the middle of the space race and Cold War paranoia, climbing to number 1 on both the US and UK charts. Zager and Evans are the only band to top both charts and never have another hit in either country.
he'll either say I'm pleased where man has been.
Their dystopian warning turned out to be their only musical footprint. Whether you find it spooky, insightful, or just over the top, it's hard to deny its eerie staying power. And let's be honest, it's still weirdly relevant in the era of smartphones and AI. One-hit wonder? Sure, but it was one heck of a prophecy. Sally Go Round the Roses, The Jaynettes, 1963. This haunting, echo-filled track sounded like nothing else on the radio when it was released in 1963. With cryptic lyrics and an eerie, almost ghostly arrangement, Sally Go Round the Roses became a surprise hit. reaching number 2 on the Billboard Hot 100. It was recorded by a revolving door of female vocalists, assembled by producer Abner Spector. No relation to Phil, and no one's entirely sure who sang what. The song's mysterious vibe has inspired endless interpretations. Some say it's about heartbreak, others think it hints at mental illness or lesbian love. Regardless, it's been covered by artists from Grace Slick to Hole. The Janettes never had another hit, but this one track has lived on in cult music circles and 60s retrospectives. It's spooky, soulful, and soaked in mystery. A true one-hit wonder that feels like it came from another planet. A summer song, Chad and Jeremy, 1964. British duo Chad and Jeremy brought a soft, whispery touch to the British invasion with this nostalgic ballad about fleeting summer love. Released in 1964, A Summer Song climbed to number 7 in the US charts and became their only major American hit. With its gentle acoustic guitar and wistful lyrics, the song felt like a sonic vacation compared to the loud rock crashing ashore from Liverpool. Chad Stewart and Jeremy Clyde had a few other minor successes in the UK, but never reached the same heights again. The track has since been used in countless movies, commercials, and TV shows, most notably in Rushmore and The Princess Diaries. It's the musical equivalent of looking at old photo albums from your youth. Sweet, simple, and gone too soon, like summer itself. A soft-spoken classic that quietly earned its spot in one-hit wonder history.
Mother-in-law, to me they are bound.
Mother-in-Law, Ernie K-Doe, 1961. This humorous R&B classic topped the charts in 1961 with its playful take on a dreaded family member, the mother-in-law. Ernie K-Doe's lively vocals, combined with Alan Toussaint's catchy piano melody, created a song that was equal parts comedy and catchy hook. The lyrics describe a man's misery at the hands of his meddling mother-in-law, but the delivery is so fun, it's hard to be mad, and was a number 1 hit in the US on the Billboard Hot 100 chart and the Billboard R&B chart. Despite a strong start, K-Doe never managed to land another song as big as this one. Still, he became a beloved New Orleans personality, eventually hosting a quirky local radio show. The song remains a novelty favorite and is often played on Mother's Day, ironically or not, depending on the family. It even inspired a few parodies and TV show references over the years. K-Doe may have been a one-hit wonder on the charts, but Mother-in-Law earned him a permanent spot in pop culture's Hall of Quirky fame.
You talk too much, you worry me to death.
You Talk Too Much, Joe Jones, 1960. New Orleans singer Joe Jones scored big with this bluesy, humorous single about a guy driven crazy by his overly chatty partner. You Talk Too Much climbed to number 3 on the Billboard Hot 100 in 1960 and became his only top 40 hit. The simple call and response format and Jones's frustrated yet charming delivery made it an instant hit, especially with anyone who's ever wanted a little peace and quiet.
Talk about people that you don't know.
The song stood out in the early 60s pop scene and found regular rotation on jukeboxes and oldies stations for decades to come. Despite its success, Jones struggled to replicate it, though he stayed in the music business behind the scenes. He later worked as a talent scout and manager. While he faded from the spotlight, this playful track endured, reminding everyone that sometimes less talk really is more. One-hit wonder? Sure, but a loud and memorable one at that. Angel Baby, Rosie and the Originals, 1960. Rosie Hamlin was just a teenager when she wrote Angel Baby, and you can hear every ounce of youthful innocence in her fragile, heartfelt voice. Recorded in an abandoned gas station and released on a tiny label, the song became a surprise hit in 1960, eventually reaching number 5 on the Billboard Hot 100. The dreamy, slow dance quality made it a staple at sock hops and teen dances. Rosie and the Originals never duplicated that success, but the song gained cult status over the years. John Lennon even cited it as one of his favorite tracks, recording his own version later on. The raw simplicity and emotional honesty of Angel Baby have helped it endure through generations of love-struck teenagers. One-hit wonder? Definitely. But that one hit has the staying power of a prom night memory. Sweet, a little awkward, and unforgettable.
Well, her daughter came home one afternoon and
Harper Valley PTA, Jeannie C. Riley, 1968. Country met pop in the best way when Jeannie C. Riley released this cheeky narrative about a small-town widow standing up to her judgmental neighbors. Written by Tom T. Hall, Harper Valley PTA, shot to #1 on both the Billboard Hot 100 and the country charts in 1968, making Riley the first woman to achieve that feat. The song's storytelling and bold sass captured the spirit of rebellion bubbling up in the late 60s. Riley, with her mod dresses and go-go boots, didn't exactly fit the traditional country image, but that only made the song more iconic.
Well, there's Bobby Taylor sitting there, and 7 times he's asked me for it.
Although she had some success in the country scene afterward, this was her only massive crossover hit. It inspired a movie and a short-lived TV series. Harper Valley PTA might have been Riley's one big pop moment, but it remains one of the most unforgettable finger-wagging anthems of its time.
Woke up to find, hey, what I had through my mind.
Western Union, The Five Americans, 1967. This jangly, organ-driven pop-rock tune made waves in 1967 with its catchy hook and sound effect mimicking a telegraph machine. Western Union climbed to #5 on the Billboard charts, with its tale of a man receiving a breakup telegram hitting home for a generation who still knew what a telegram was. The Five Americans were known for their tight harmonies and upbeat sound, but this was their only major national hit. It's often cited as one of the best examples of 60s sunshine pop with a bittersweet twist. Though they never returned to the top 10, the band continued performing and recording for a few more years. Western Union still pops up in retro playlists and compilation albums, keeping their one-hit wonder status alive and well. Breakups, catchy choruses, and that click-clack intro. This track had it all. One telegram was all it took to send them into the history books. And there you have it. 15 one-hit wonders that helped make the 1960s one of the most unpredictable, unforgettable decades in music history. Whether they made you dance, scratch your head, or cry into your soda pop, each of these artists earned their brief moment in the spotlight and left us with a tune we still can't get out of our heads. So, which of these tracks is your favorite? Did we miss one that absolutely deserves a spot? Drop a comment below and let us know. And if you enjoyed this blast from the past, go ahead and give us a like, hit that subscribe button, and ring the bell so you never miss another musical time warp with classic American auto and music.